Hello, in this video I'll show you how to use the Sprite2 D add-on for Blender. It's an add-on I developed for generating 2D sprite animation from 3D models with animation. You can use it for generating models or animations for your 2D games, for instance. Okay, let's start by installing the add-on by going to Edit, Preferences, then we click Install and locate the add-on file. Okay, now enable it and we are all set. Let's see how it works. I will start by deleting everything in the scene and then loading a 3D model with animation. I've downloaded one from Mixamo for a simple kick animation, but you can use any model you like. Okay, we wait for it to load. Okay, now we are ready. As we see, the animation has been loaded successfully. Now let's open the side menu by pressing N and let's find the add-on options. Okay, now we need to make sure that we are selecting the armature and not the mesh. Let's check the add-on options. The first option is make animation in place, which is used to make animation in place. This is very important to generate correct sprite animation. Some animations like pop or run might not be in place as the model changes its position through the animation. By clicking make animation in place, we make sure that everything will work as expected. I think this animation is already in place, but let's make sure by clicking this button. The next option now is the camera angle. This option defines the camera angle relative to the horizon. We can generate sprite animation for several types of games. For example, if we set this angle to 90 degrees, we can generate animation for top-down games. If we set it to 0, this will be a side-scroller game. And for any value between those, we'll have an isometric game. I guess the most common value is 45, so I will set it now to 45 in this video. Now we move to the next option, which is resolution. Each frame is rendered as a square. This option allows us to set the dimension of the square. Here I'll set it to 512. The camera scale will be automatically calculated when clicking Set Up Camera. But if we want, we can change it later. Okay, now let's click Set Up Camera and wait for the result. The camera setup has finished. We now have a new camera in our scene. The model is roughly at the center of the camera view, as we can see now. We can also see that the start frame and end frame values are extracted from the animation. We can also change them anytime later. Okay, now let's exit the camera view and see how it looks from outside. We see that we have a 45-degree angle with the horizon, which is the XY plane, as we see here. Let's set up now the render environment. I will just use a white color, but you can use anything you like, an HDRI image, or maybe add few lights to the scene, whatever you like. I'll switch to render view and check the result. Seems it looks very awful in Eevee. I will switch to cycles and see how it looks. Yeah, much better. Now we are almost ready to render, but we have other few steps. First, let's select the output path, which is where we want to save our render. I will choose a folder I created on the desktop called Sprite Render. We can also change the start frame and end frame values for our animation. We can also set the frame step. If we like to skip fewer frames, for example, we can, for example, render every 2 frames or every 3 frames as we like. I will keep this value as they are now, but you can change them any way you like. Okay, the next option we'll be talking about is the render angles, which defines how many angles we will be rendering the animation from. If we use 2 render angles, we will render the animation from the front and the back only, as we can see here. But if we set it to 4, we will render from all 4 sides, front, back, left and right, which is also very important in isometric or top-down games. But the most common value, I guess, is 8. I will use 8 render angles. Don't worry if you didn't understand the render angle concept well. It will be very clear after we finish rendering. Let's select the armature again and start rendering by hitting the export button and wait for the render to finish. Okay, we're back. I actually had to change some view values and re-export the animation. The first thing I've changed is a frame step. I put it to 2 and also I changed the resolution to 256. And I rendered the animation again. Now let's check the output. If we go to the output folder, we will see 8 folders numbered from 0 to 7. Each folder represents the animation viewed from one render angle. If we go for folder 0, as we see here, we will see that the model is facing the bottom left direction. And we have the animation here. The same animation is rendered at folder 1, but we see that the model is facing the left side. For folder 2, we see that the model is facing the top left side. And for folder 3, we also see that the model is facing the top side. As we can see, it's the same animation but rendered from different angle for each folder. I hope you liked this add-on. If you have any notes or suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you. Goodbye.